you have to, when you're not playing, watch them. Watch what they're doing, how they're running their lane, how they're cutting, how they're taking advantage of something. And because you gotta remember, if you're gonna see them again, this is your first glimpse at them raw. Mm-hmm. This is, because it's just like anything. This is, the runs are the wild. You know, in the NBA, they're more controlled for the most part. Some players are more controlled, so you get to see them at their wildest, you know, doing things that they probably couldn't do on the court.
Welcome on back to another edition of No Chill with Gilbert Arenas. I'm Mike Botticelli. Right over there is Gilbert Arenas, all-star, decked out, T-Mac.
Oh yeah, this is my T-Mac.
All-time great player, all-time great in late. That's gonna be a theme today because we have Peyton Watson here today.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
You said length is part of your identity. So.
Yeah.
And we had to do this Gil, it's always a schedule that we have to work around, right? And it's a good thing. It's a good problem to have because you live in the damn gym.
Yeah. Every day, that's what we got to work around, kind of build everything around that schedule. So if we got to move some stuff around, like I know we've been trying to schedule for a long time, but like there's always something popping up with hoops. So that's just what we've been having to
priorities, that comes first. Right?
Always.
Yeah, hoops always come first.
Yeah, always.
And if it doesn't work that way, we got problems. But this year, way different, right? Because, 2020, pandemic, all that stuff throws, into what you have planned, throws a whole, all that offline. So what's been different for you this year in 2020 as far as your training and approach?
Just having to be creative with what we got to do because, like, nothing's guaranteed with any gyms. Any gym could close down at any time if you're not following protocol or anything like that. So we've just been having to get creative. Like, at the start of the summer or whenever we got out, we were working out outside in my front yard, getting it in. But for us, it was just about repetition and muscle memory. So we were getting them up every day in my front yard. And then gradually, as we were blessed enough to get a gym, that's what we ended up doing. And then now we're just finding ways to hoop as much as we can because at first we just wanted to work out. But now people are like, since we're working out, we want to show what we've been working on. We want to hoop. So that's just the dilemma we're in now, but we're figuring it out slowly.
And is that good news for you to hear that this young wave, that's basically what you did? Just find a way to play, find a way to...
Yeah, right now, it has its advantages and disadvantages. With, COVID and the lockdown and everything is kind of in limbo mode, for, the guys that are hungry still, this is a big advantage.
Yeah.
Because,
sure.
Your work ethic is going to let you find gyms. I mean, if you're a lazy guy and you're like, well, they're closed, we're not going to open up until 2020, you taking 3, 4, 5 months off and you don't know yet, but
exactly.
You done got caught. You done got caught and passed, and you just don't realize it yet because the season hasn't started. Or, competition hasn't. But, working out, trying to find ways to get better is the key right now. Because, because everyone's not blessed to get in gyms, you still have to maintain. Yeah. You just can't say, all right, I'm just gonna wait till they open it back up because it's too late.
Yeah.
The work ethic doesn't lie. That's really what it is. For you, what's been different? What have you adjusted?
Just the fact, that I know, there's always people out there working. So with me, how I've come up is, I've always targeted the next guy. So once I pass somebody up, I'm looking to see who the next person is. And I know that now that I'm in that spot, #1 player in California, people are doing the same thing for me. So I just take it as if I'm still chasing that. So every day we're just working to get better. And I always told myself, even when quarantine started in March, I'm like, I didn't know how long it was gonna last. Fast forward 6 months, we're still in quarantine. So I was just telling myself, when we do get out of it, I'm gonna be working so hard during this break that when we come back, I'm gonna look like a pro. And that's what the goal is.
And we can't let that go by #1 player in California. I know you're...
You just went by, just #1 player in California, but
which we say all the talent comes from California. So let's go right to that real quick, was to be on rankings, that matters for sure. It's a compliment. It can be your motivator, be your fuel, but you can't rest on that. It keeps you going. So speak to that. How does it feel getting to the top of the rankings in California?
I mean, for me, I'm a restless worker, so I'm not #1 in the country. Obviously, if you're a competitor, if anyone says someone's better than you, you're like, nah, no way, that's disrespect. So for me, I'm never stopping. The work is always the work is always happening, but I'm blessed to be in the position that I'm at and getting the exposure I am for being the best in California. And I think every time I go out, I prove that. So I'm just working at every time I get better than the last time people saw me.
You know the best thing about being coined the best in California is it's really an honor where rankers don't really understand. If you look at, the NBA All-Star team, the NBA All-NBA team, the Olympic team, most of those players are California kids. So what ends up happening is to be number one in California means you're going through some real talent. Being number one in the country, but you're living in Alabama, well, that doesn't really translate. Like, how good are you compared to everyone else? Yeah. So the rankings can be deceiving to some people. But, when it comes to California kids, because California is so big and there's so much talent here, that when you get to the top, you're really there. Yeah. You're really up there because you had to fight and battle. You went through real competition. So, that's something to really be proud of.
Exactly. And with all the good players out here, it's either you looking for the smoke or you dodging it. And you could tell who's really a competitor and who's not, because those are the people that'll go out and play anybody. And every night we were playing in season, we were playing against a good player, in California. I know sometimes when you living in this, and you can't control it, but when you living in, like you said, Alabama or Nebraska or something, you can't control who you playing. Mm-hmm. And it could be a blowout, and you're not really getting better from that. You get your highlight dunks and whatnot, but I would much rather play a close game and be in a dogfight than blow people out.
Yeah, I always say this, when you're trying to see where you are, you have to go against the talent, because you got to remember, they're going to teach you what your weaknesses are. You know what I mean? They're going to teach you what you need to get better at. You're going to show your strengths to get them. But you get to really all right, this is what happened. You get to go back to the drawing board. Right. See, if you never challenge yourself against real talent, you never get to really, change your game for the better. So if you're sitting there dodging, okay, that's Peyton. I don't want to play against him. I want to play against him. So when I do face you and get that ass whooping that I wasn't, that I thought, I built up and I got the ass whooping, it took me to a place that I didn't want to go. Exactly. But if I got the ass whooping early and say, okay, this is what he did to me, okay, he's a little longer than I thought, adjust my shot. You get to, do all that. It's like the playoffs. You get to adjust to it. And I say with players, to know where you really are, you have to take on those challenges.
Yeah, 100%. And one thing we focused on during quarantine is we got to take advantage of everything, because with everybody coming back from the NBA and stuff, there's a lot of pros out here in Cali. Everybody comes to work out. So our thing is not being the best in the gym. Anywhere we go, we don't want to be the best player in the gym, because I want that challenge and I want to know what I have to work on.
Yeah, when you're playing against that next level, everyone's athletic, everyone's fast, everyone can jump. You know what I mean? Everyone knows their little secrets. It's just learning them faster. You know what I mean? Learning them, understanding them, seeing what they're doing, how they're guarding you, where they're trying to push you, what they're trying to do, what they're giving you. Because as a defender, you might be getting off on this guy.
Exactly.
Right? But he's working on something different. Mm-hmm. He's working on, all right, I need to push him to his weak hand, right? Push him to his weak hand, learning how to push off to that weak hand. And to you, that's your strong hand, but he's not playing against you right now. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? He's not mentally playing. He's playing against someone else, trying to figure out how to, you know what I mean? So you have to look at what he's doing versus what you're doing sometimes and understand that pickup ain't pickup all the time. It's lab, it's working. It's you remember your season is, that's where your results. So that's the test.
That's all.
You know what I mean? The NBA, that's the test. Well, we got little quizzes here and there. And so when I go against someone, I need to work on something. If I'm working on my step back, I want to go against you and I'm just going to work it. If you block it 200 times, you block it 200 times. You know what I mean? But that's what I came there to do, versus just going out there just playing recklessly, just trying to look good. Because that probably is not helping on what I worked on.
Exactly. We go run, there's not a lot of guys out there like me, who are super big, mobile, like I am. So a lot of times it's either, like as you know, it's a really big dude who's guarding me, who's not as quick as me, or a smaller guard. So a lot of the times I could get to the rack, dunk it, do all that, but a lot of times I'm trying to work on my handle, my pick and roll game, just my IQ on the floor, running off screen, stuff like that, because that's ultimately what you get better doing.
And Gil, what we like there is you're not getting too comfortable, because that can happen, bad habits falling. And we just talked about we can explore space. First, we got to say, we know you're going to UCLA. We'll get into that in a minute. But the UCLA runs are a great place. So this time between high school, let's say high school, and then, the pros, it's the time to work on these things, not being the best player in the gym, meaning I want to go in there and learn. So let's think of like Rico's runs, where you go into a gym as a 18, 19-year-old before you're a pro, 17, even younger. You got James Harden there, you got Russell Westbrook there, you got Kyrie. So you're going up against these guys, what you're talking about, Gil. What should that mindset be like going into that gym?
To learn. You know what I mean? They're at a level where you're trying to get to, right? So you have to, it's like a computer. You have to, when you're not playing, watch them. Watch what they're doing, how they're running their lane, how they're cutting, how they're taking advantage of something. And because you gotta remember, if you're gonna see them again, this is your first glimpse at them raw. This is, because it's just like anything. This is, the runs are the wild. In the NBA, they're more controlled for the most part. Some players are more controlled. So you get to see them at their wildest, doing things that they probably couldn't do on the court. So you get to watch their natural habitat. So learning what they do, how they run, do they cut when they don't have the ball? What are they doing? So you can just pick up their little tricks and the trades. You know what I mean? And then from there, look what you can do against them. Because that's where you build your first confidence. You come down and give James Harden 2 moves and boom, boom, dunk. When you eventually play against him, you're gonna know, I might not dunk it because he's gonna have real big men back there, but I know I can get by him. He still ain't, okay, there we go. You know what I mean? So you gain confidence playing against them, doing the things you work on against them. From there is just watching, and learning what pros do.
But for you also there, it's not that if you could play on the same team as in these runs, play on the same team as them, and he throws you a pass, it's not you're just gonna be happy like, oh, James Harden passed me the ball. You gotta know what to do with it when you get it.
Or you're not getting it again.
So funny, pickup runs have built great like teammates. Think about Paul George and Kawhi. Why would those two want to play together? Just random.
No idea.
Because they played together younger and they meshed well together. So they're like, well, shit, I'm a free agent, come on over here. We know how to play well together, let's go. And that's what pickup run do. You go to pickup run and y'all go 7-0. You're like, yo, hey, when you a free agent? All right, now I'm gonna put a word in for you. That's how Trez and Lou got together. You know what I mean? They played pickup together, and then when one was a free agent, come to Houston. And then from there, let's go to LA. So pickup run, that does build teammates too.
For real, no doubt.
And we talked about evaluating yourself against best players. Who's some guys that have given you, the best challenge here in LA?
Recently, I went out to Santa Barbara and I played against this guy named Jaden McDaniels. He's in the draft this year. He was a freshman last year. And he was a McDonald's All-American, all that, the whole nine. And he's built kind of similar to me, similar frame, but he's 6'10". So when you play against somebody who's just like you, but a little bit bigger, a little bit older, a little bit stronger, that's when it's really a test of what you're gonna do. So for me, it was just about, sometimes I had to will it in because it wasn't gonna be easy. Just like I do to people who were smaller than me, he was doing the same thing to me. So it was a tough one playing against someone that's like you.
Yeah, it's so funny that was a key word, will. Sometimes, height, size really don't matter, it's the will. Because sometimes, when you're playing against smaller and the thought process of, oh, this guy's a little too easy, I'm gonna take it easy. Well, he might have the same process thought too, and that's where your will be like,
he's barely killing me.
I'm gonna take advantage of you not playing so hard and see if I can jab you a little bit. And and just because at the end of this, it's trying to bite at everyone who's above you. I'm gonna take a bite because when you see me again, you're gonna be like, oh, little man came at me real hard. Let me turn it up. Because that's what you want. I want your best because your best teaches me how to become better.
No doubt.
If you're sitting there lollygagging through the court and I'm like, man, how am I getting better from you, dog? You know what I mean? Like, yo, give me your A game. Talk trash. Play me hard. Play me like you're trying to stop me from even existing, so I know how to adjust to it.
Exactly.
And I don't think a lot of kids understand that. Like, you got to remember, the only way to get better is someone needs to show you how to get better. Someone needs to. All right, you can't do this against everyone.
Yeah.
All right, now there ain't gonna be no in and out, try to Euro dunk on me. I'm smacking all that. Makes you adjust your game. All right, that didn't work against him. Let me go back to the drawing board, recreate, and then come back and see you a month later.
Exactly, and like when somebody goes hard at you, I mean, as a competitor, like you're like, okay, you got to accept that challenge and go right back at them. So that's just what I tend to do, and I'm looking at everybody above me, like you said. And anytime I get a chance to play against somebody who's supposed to be better than me, I want to go out there and prove I'm better than them. And if I don't, I know at least I got better and I know what I need to work on to get to that.
So once you find that, you're gonna figure out, all right, here's what I gotta do. Whatever I gotta sell out to win. And whatever I gotta do, I gotta find that fuel and use it. So for you, Peyton, what's your fuel?
Just being my best at all times. You never want to beat yourself is one thing I tell myself. Is like, if I'm gonna lose with it all out there. Because to be honest, when you get to a certain level, everybody has pride. So it's just a matter of like who wants it more. And sometimes you're gonna bring your best and it's not gonna work out, but at least you brought your best, and it wasn't easy for anybody. But like Jimmy said, you don't play any games to lose. Mm-hmm. You play to win. Till the buzzer sounds, you play to win.
It's common sense for people, but it's what the expression is, leaving it all on the floor.
Yeah.
And I guess not everybody does that.
No, surprisingly not. No.
Some people play for participation awards.
Yes. There's some players that's just gifted, that their gift is gonna get them, fast forward them through life. Some people are gonna have to work hard. Some people are gifted and they work hard, and you're gonna run up against guys that they're gonna be all-stars, all NBA players, and when you go against them, you're gonna be like, oh, he don't have heart. Mm-hmm. That's what it is. That's why you don't get to the next level.
That's why you don't.
You don't have the heart, and you will see it once you get up close. See, TV don't show you that.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? You got to remember, TV and media told us Jimmy Butler was a bad guy. He's a guy you don't want on your team. You know what I mean? Because they were rebuilding. And his winning attitude was not appropriate for the locker room that wasn't trying to win. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? So when he lashed out, it's like, oh yeah, he's challenging the order. We don't want him on this team. He's not a good guy. Well, you put him in an atmosphere where they want to win. Oh, he's a saint. He's the nicest. He's the best player. He's the best teammate ever. He's God over here. Mm-hmm. Because you put that man in the right element where that's what they were looking for. Yeah. You know what I mean? So he's played against people like, you don't have heart. And you got to remember, if you don't have heart in your teammates, that's gonna be a clash. That's gonna be a clash. You know what I mean? And you have to understand that, especially being captains, being leaders, where you have to understand who's in that pack. You know what I mean? Who's in that pack and trying to will the ones who don't want to be willed. No, I mean, listen, you can get on the bus or you can just be left off, but we're gonna keep going.
Yeah, that's how it is. Yeah, and I feel like he doesn't ask his teammates of anything he don't do himself. Mm-hmm. So as long as you're doing that, holding yourself accountable, you got the right to do that. And that's what I did with my high school team this year. I mean, like, I would always be on him. Like, I would yell at him, I'm a competitor. I want to win. if you want to win, then you're gonna respond to it with trying to be your best and trying to get better. And like at the end of the day, I was still winning every line drill. I was trying my hardest. I was trying to win every drill. So like I wasn't asking him anything that I wouldn't ask him myself.
We got to. I mean, I remember when I was in college, I had a teammate named Mike Shortley. He was a walk-on. And I remember we was doing a 5-mile run. And, you know, I'm over here like, about to whoop through y'all. Like, keep up.
Yeah.
And then he walked to me and said, I'm challenging you for first place. I said, first place on the 5-mile run? He said, yeah, first place on the 5-mile run. Who are you again? Like, who are you? Like, what are you talking about? You just gonna walk up to me and challenge me? Like, I challenge everybody here. You not just go, like, and then from there, I'm first, right behind me. Like, he was like literally, like the whole 5 miles, I can hear his footsteps. Like, doom, 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 doom. And I'm just like, what is wrong with this guy? I'm not stopping because even when I wanted to slow up, I can hear his footsteps. And I remember the second day, and I was like, man, it was after I was like, man, I appreciate you pushing me.
Yeah.
But I'm gonna blow you out next time.
So
I didn't really think you were really gonna be behind me. I'm gonna blow you out next time. Second time, beat him by 2 full laps. The third time we had the run, it was like, yeah, beat him. Like it was like, because he got mad that I beat him by 2 laps, and now he wanted.
You need that. Though.
Yeah. And it was like, and a guy who was trying to make a team pushing me. Like, so he seen something in me that I didn't see in myself. I'm just like, I like to run. You know, I ran track, so that's what I did. I'm just challenging, you know, everyone else. And he's challenging me, just personally just took it on. And he was like, and we became like these best buds.
That's how it is. Like, one of my actual best friends, he ended up being my best friend. I didn't know him before this year because he had never played varsity, but he played varsity for his senior year, and I had never heard of him. I'm coming in, I'm like, oh yeah, no one here can mess with me. And every day we come into practice, he would be like, literally, we're doing walkthroughs, and he's literally got his head on my chest, and he's stealing the ball, trying to steal the ball from me while we're doing walkthrough. And I'm like, all right, I see how it's gonna be. So now I gotta really, like, you know how you like, all right, now I gotta really try. Yeah. But if you don't bring it like that from A-game, from the jump, people are gonna be like that with you. So he actually turned out to be one of my best friends, and we still kick it to this day. But it was just funny because he knew he couldn't compete with me, like, but he's like, I'm gonna do everything I can to get in his head. Like, even after practice was done, I'm changing. He's still on me. I'm like, can I get a break?
That's a little much.
Can I get a break, dog?
No, but that's what's so funny is, but those are the guys that they don't get the reward. They don't get the praise for turning you into what you are.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because they impact you because mentally they're challenging you every single day. Because you got to remember, when you play against a rival and someone's doing that, you've been accustomed to it so much that you don't even get rattled like you would before. Like, this guy is on you, stepping on your shoes, and now he irritates you for a quarter before you bounce. Now that irritation doesn't even happen because you have someone in practice who does it every single day, all day, and you adapted to it.
All right, Gil, let's say this. Let's say Peyton's your teammate, and you have this to work with. We'll say it's length, but length and ability. What would you do with it?
That's why I got the shirt on, T-Mac. I'm playing like T-Mac. like, you know, like, I know T-Mac is compared to KD, so everyone compares off height versus reality.
Yeah.
You know, so I'm putting you in that T-Mac mode where 1, 2, 3.
Yeah.
You know, it really don't matter because you're gonna have the advantage on all three, you know, on all 3 stations. So I don't want to put you as a traditional 3. Now, now you got to work harder trying to
In the
get the ball. It's
box.
like, yo, you get the rebound, go, do you. You know what I mean? And that's going to be your best attribute, that because you're long. So that means you can guard the 3, 2s, and 1s. Like I can put you on a point and say, yo, we having trouble back here. Go shut him down. And you can stay in front of him, challenge everything. So that's the ability of longer players now. When I came in, they didn't know what to do with guys like that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? They didn't know where to put them. It's
Because everybody was big. They were
yeah,
doing them football weights.
everybody's big, and then if you're long, you're stuck at the 3. Then it's like, well, I'm glad he's only at the 3, because if he was bringing the ball up, we was gonna have troubles. And then you got the LeBrons coming in,
That's a question I
playing the
got for you.
point.
Like, do you think that skill determines position or size determines position? Because I talk about this all the time with my pop.
Skill.
Because in a lot of cases, I know you weren't the smallest guy on your team. I know there was a guy smaller than you who maybe brought the ball up.
I played with Earl Boykins. And I was the point. He was a point.
Mm-hmm.
So I'll move over to the 2 for him to bring the ball up, or I bring the ball up and he just ran around screens.
Yeah.
Position is like it's a starting point. Like, oh, your height, it's a starting point, but your skill dictates where I'm gonna play you.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? Like, if you're 6'8", but you handle like a point, I'm gonna put you at the point.
Yeah.
You have vision.
Like Luka.
Like, you have vision, I'm gonna give you the ball. Like, and why you think Luka didn't work at the 2 with Dennis Smith Jr.? It's like, well, Dennis Smith Jr. is a point guard. He didn't know how to play the 2. Well, Luka can play the 1 and the 2. So if I put him at the 1 and put you at the 2, but you can't play the 2, and if I put him at the 1 and put you at the 2, but he can't get you the ball, well, I'm gonna take you at the point and then get rid of him and find another guy that can complement you.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? So now you have a 1, 2, 3 playing the 1. Yeah. Just put the ball in his hand, and then from there we can build around that. So it's like, well, if you can dribble like a point, pass like a point, shoot like a 2, dive like a 3, well, what I'm gonna do is put the ball in your hand and then figure it out from there. Yeah. You know what I mean? So, position, being a strict 3, but your point in your 2 is not good enough to get you the ball. Or, like LeBron. LeBron can't play traditional 3 because he doesn't have, his first 2 steps are not as fast as they should be. He's more like a train once he gets moving. So with him, you gotta put him at the point and
So
let him move. And then from there, let him dictate the pace. And then from there, then you put the other pieces. If Rondo, and if I don't have the fast break, give it to you in the half court, let you do your thing. So with guys like that, you can put the same players. So I can put you at the point and then get a 6'8" 2 guard and a 6'9" 3, and then I just have a big ass team. You know what I mean? Or I can say, all right, well, my point guard that's 5'10" can shoot this shit out of the ball. I'm gonna put him at the 2. Mm-hmm. You can see over the defense, so you can make the passes versus this guy trying to,
Exactly.
trying to look over, find you. I'll put you at the point, put him at the 2, and then it works out easier. Mm-hmm. But that has to be a coach who has vision that can sit there and do these things, because you gotta remember, some people are still old school. Some people are old school where they're just stuck in old school traditional ways. Mm-hmm. So these new players that's coming in, they've never seen you before. So they're trying to go back, oh yeah, you remind me of back when I played and this guy, yeah, he was a great 3-man, ran the floor. Like, what?
Yeah.
Hey, man, I got all this when he's talking about it. These moves wasn't even invented back when you played. So
that's how it
don't
is.
compare me to somebody who was in 1974. Like, I don't.
Mm-hmm.
But how do you balance that? Because a coach can put you in the right position based on your skill set, right? But what if you're not mentally ready for it? Like, I didn't really actually want to bring the ball up. Or I don't really want to play in the post.
I feel like
Don't
you
put me
gotta
in the corner.
prove what you are, because my coach is old-fashioned. But once I showed that I could do all I could do at 6'8", he was like, okay, if you're gonna help us win games, and go ahead by any means. So I think you don't just give anybody anything. They gotta prove that they can do it. And once they can prove that they can do it, at that point, then you coach them and you say, okay, maybe you don't take that shot, maybe you take this shot, but you just allow them to be creative in their role.
What was T-Mac best at with what he had?
You gotta remember, so Mac shot the ball so Mac was an excellent shooter and he was very athletic. So Mac was great at creating his shot and elevating. So he got to his point and just rose and shot. Like it was, I remember when we were the day he had 62. See, he had 62. I think he missed 10 or 12 free throws that game.
That's crazy. Those ones hurt.
He was hitting us with the same pop. We put our 4-man on him. We put our 5-man on him. We doubled him with our 4 and our 5. He was shooting over all of it. Like it was unbelievable. Like, yo, this dude is crazy. Like we got, Brendan Haywood, 7 foot,
shooting
arm
over
and
him.
Jared Jeffrey, 6'11", long arm. Like they were too small. Because, just like a Kawhi, people don't realize these guys are amazing shooters to start off with. The athleticism of, T-Mac was secondary to his shooting ability. So when this guy decided he wanted to raise up and shoot, it was butter. It wasn't just athletics. When he came in, he was dunking on you. Mm-hmm. But for the most part, if you gave him an inch of space, it was lights out.
All right, well, we're talking about a winning mentality, right? And now we can get into it, where you're going. Westwood, UCLA next year, committed. You said something and it struck me. You said you want to shift the culture. What do you mean by that?
Well, I just feel like as historically great as UCLA is, people have been not looking at our program for what it is in recent years. And I just think that with the seriousness I have for basketball and me wanting to win, want to compete, and just want to bring genuine attention to the school and back to the basketball program, I just think it would be a culture shift, because I just think that we need that back at UCLA for the program we've always had. I just think it's necessary for me to bring that back.
It's a funny thing with UCLA because there's obviously the history. So there's such a tradition, all these championships, and then you also so many talented players that come from there. So you can't really knock any of that. So when you say culture, well, there's so much to it. What does that mean to you?
I mean, let's be honest. UCLA has lost its luster for what it used to be. I mean, when you turned on, college sports, UCLA was up there in basketball. It hasn't, they've gotten great players to come out of there, but as a team, as a culture, they haven't been relevant in a sense of hearing about Duke and Kentucky and Memphis and those guys. UCLA hasn't been a powerhouse, so, I understand what you're talking about.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I think UCLA, if you're talking about blue buds like Duke, Kentucky, all that, UCLA's got to be the original with all the winning we got. So I just feel like in order to do that, you got to get the best players where you're from. That's how it's traditionally been. You get the best players from California, come to UCLA, and obviously they go off to the league, and then they can come back and teach and just inform younger players on what that's like. But I just feel like we got to bring the luster back, like you said.
And there's a lot of time. I mean, we had Jalen Clark on, and he said similarly, like there's that network of players that come back to, but it's the players that are there now, the group that you're going to be a part of. It's like, why don't we do what these guys didn't do? Not that they couldn't do, they didn't. Now it's on us, putting that extra responsibility on yourself.
Yeah, I mean, I always put it upon myself to be the best I can be, go out there and win, no matter what the cards were dealt. You gotta do what you can with what you got. So I don't believe in any excuses or anything like that. You either get it done or you don't, and I plan on getting it done.
And Gil, Pac-12 Arizona guy, you might not want to hear this, but damn, UCLA is.
I know they're stacked this year.
Stacked.
And
next year.
That's the beauty of it, where they gotta, this is a time where you get to bring the program back to, what it was. It was top 5, most talked about, college sports teams. So, you have a group that can actually just get it back up there.
Yeah, that's the plan.
So let's hear it. What went into their pitch for you that brought you to Westwood?
Honestly, just there was a lot of stuff that we didn't think about that coming to the end of my decision played a big role in it. Like I said earlier, when you're out here during the summer or wherever it may be, every hooper, every pro's out here. So if you want that bump like I do, if you want to play against good players, get good bump all the time, you go to UCLA and you play against good players. Like when you go to Kentucky, you got to go out there and train. You got to find motivation to train yourself.
Yeah.
If you stay out here, you could walk in the practice gym at UCLA and you could see Kevin Durant standing there and you're like, dang, that's where I want to be at. But if you go to Kentucky, no offense to Kentucky,
That is a hell of a pitch, though.
You're in the middle of nowhere, right?
Yeah, that's a fact.
All right.
That's a hell of a pitch. That's a hell
And
of
then
a
like
pitch.
me growing up in SoCal, like I know you know this, I ain't never even thought about weather. Every day I walk outside, I could wear the same thing. I ain't never thought about weather. So that's another thing that goes into it. Location, marketability. You're in LA. I mean, like this is the most marketable place you could be at. Like
they're using the same tactics though, but that's why West Coast. That's why West Coast kids don't leave West Coast like that. You know what I mean? Because
you got it good out here.
Weather, like you be like, yeah, you ever been to snow? Like, nah. You be like, you got to get jackets and like,
even if it's just a walk to the practice facility, you ain't used to that.
If I want to be all up in the snow like that, there's like the little simple things that you don't actually consider. Yeah. You don't think about. It's like, but that's why it's hard for West Coast kids to leave.
But it's like common sense. Like I've actually never been in Ann Arbor in January, but common sense tells me don't.
That's what makes it hard because like all the programs are good programs once you get to a certain point. Mm-hmm. So like I love Juwan Howard. Like that was like my dude. Like when we were talking and like he was recruiting me, it was like, hey, it was like I was talking to my uncle, you know? But like you think about all the factors that go into stuff and I'm like, Juwan, dog, y'all in the snow.
Yeah, the snow, yeah.
It's 85 out here.
Gotta get one of them New York boys. That's used to the Timbo boots and the bubble jackets.
Yeah, like all the programs are great though. Just at the end of the day, UCLA had everything we wanted in the program. Obviously a great school, great networking for stuff after basketball because like you still a young dude like for the world, right?
Yeah.
Like you an old head for basketball.
Yeah, old head for basketball.
But like for the world, you still young. So it's like you out here still like there's so much stuff out here like
to do.
There's so much stuff to do, so many people to know. So like we just thought UCLA was the perfect fit for all that.
All right, how are you gonna bring a championship to Westwood?
Winning attitude, winning culture, competitiveness. I mean, I think I'm a good player, so you mix that in with just wanting to win, genuinely going out there every day, wanting to mesh with your teammates, being able to tell your teammates whatever you want and them not taking it personally. Just all that, a mixture of all that. Because I think I'm a super cool dude off the court, but when you get on the court, you get crazy. So
yeah, and that's the best. That's the best when you are super cool off the court because if they know who you are, well, when things happen on the court, you don't take it personal.
Yeah, they're like, oh, okay. Because I could fight you in practice. And then as soon as practice ends, he's like, all right.
My bad about that punch.
Yeah, exactly.
Let's go get something to eat.
Exactly. But like when I'm on the court, I'm ready to fight. I can't fight now. But I'm ready to fight when I'm on the court because that's just the level of competitiveness you got to have. And I just think bringing that to UCLA, my attitude, and just my outlook on the game, I think it'll do some good things. Like, cause I know you didn't grow up with social media and stuff. How do you think it would have like changed it if you did? Because it's hard not to be on social media.
Like in high school?
Yeah. Just coming up, like how I am.
It's so hard to think about it, it was better for a player like me. Because you didn't know who I was, you didn't know what I did, you had no information on me. It was just, all right, game time. Who I got? Him. All right. Okay. Wait, coach, is this the guy that's scoring 30? Yeah. All right. Like there was no information, there was no pre-look, and you can adjust.
Know what the dude looks like.
So by the time you adjusted to my game, I already got 40 on you. It's too late. So it was easy to come and smack somebody in the face versus now they can see, they're like, oh, all right, he does this. Okay, he got, and then they can come bring their A game. Yeah. It's like, all right, Grant High School. What? Who is that? Yeah. And then boom. So I think it would have been harder for me during social media time because it was easier for me to be the underdog just coming in, just whopping everybody.
Yeah, that's how it is now because like when we play league, like we're playing the same teams twice. So our next league game, you were seeing the highlights from my last league game. I'm jumping up, dunking everything. You're like, I can't let that happen to me. So people are already seeing what I'm doing before game time comes. So I guess like that was kind of like.
Yeah, it's that's what I said. But it's even for like your outer opponents when you're not playing league. Like league is always they're gonna always be on to you because they play you multiple. It's like when you're playing these tournaments and nobody know who you are. That now social media gets to play that part. Yeah. Like, oh no, I seen him at the what's the name. No. Don't push him left, push him right, because when you go left, he yangs on you. Like, that happens now.
Yeah. Yeah, thanks.
We kind of already got into it, but let's make it official so you can pick his brain some more, Peyton. What for Ask Agent Zero? What do you have on deck?
For me, one question I wanted to know was like, because you were always a scorer. So what was the adjustment you had to make going from high school to college and then from college to the league? Like, how did you have to change like the way you scored? Or what changed in your mind to help you score more?
So when I was in high school, I was the point, and then I got moved to the 2. In college, we had 4 McDonald's All-Americans. So it wasn't necessarily designed for me, play-wise. So I had to learn how to score within that offense. So sprinting up the court, cutting, slashing. So I led the team in scoring, and they didn't even run plays for me. You know what I mean? Just learning how to, okay, he likes to do this, he does that. All right, when he's ready to pass, it's hard for him to pass back this way, versus kicking it straight. So I'm gonna be on this
side of him.
Yeah. So, I just learned how to position myself with everyone on that court.
Yeah.
And then, you gotta remember, if your natural ability is something, all you're doing just trying to figure out how to take it and place it. And then you just let it grow. You know what I mean? It's like sometimes we get to situations where, they already have a James Harden. You know what I mean? That they need me to do something else. No. Yeah, they need you to add to what he's doing. Watch how he plays, figure out his style, and then add your, attributes to it. Don't take away your scoring ability to, just defeat him all the time. No, you add to his game because that's what makes you better. That's what makes him better. That's what makes the team better. When you he's averaging, 34. Shit, Westbrook averaged 27. You know what I mean? Westbrook didn't say, all right, I'm going to average 15. No, I'm going. I scored 30. Doing. Shit, so I'm going to try to score 32. We just going to do this shit together. And that's how you got to look at it. You get to that level, you watch everybody, you dissect how they're trying to score, what they're doing, and just add your input. And then let them, or you can do the Kobe, take over, and then y'all figure out how to score around me.
Yeah.
There's different approaches, but you got to put your will on the game, in practice, whatever you're going to do in the game, do the shit in practice. Because that old school college coach style, when you hold back and then you try a 360 windmill in the game and it don't work and they getting ready to yank you out. Now, if you try it in practice all the time, do what you do.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? Just do what you do. That's the best advice I can. Just do what you do. Because you got to remember, they recruited you for a reason. When you get drafted, they're drafting you for a reason.
That's a fact. No need to change your game then. Yeah, that was a big one I had because I heard obviously in college the defense is more organized, guys are better, so just scoring, I heard, was harder in general. But like, they recruited you because you have a knack in a certain thing. So if you keep doing that.
Yeah, scoring is harder in college because they can just pack the lane on you. You know what I mean? They can just pack it and make the court smaller.
Take charges off.
You know, it's from there, you don't even have to be positioned, anything is a charge. So it's more frustrating than anything. You know, it's just one of those, when you're super athletic, super talented, it's just a style.
You can't always dunk
No,
it.
you can't always, you got to learn how to, it's like learning how to play more chess than checkers. You know what I mean? You know, scoring in the NBA is actually easier than scoring in college.
I would have thought that too, because the court is so big in the NBA. And there's no illegal defense.
It's the same. No. There's no illegal defense. What makes it look bigger more is because now now you have to guard that man. In college, everyone can just sit in the lane, and you know, if you're not used to shooting that long three, shoot it. Mm-hmm. So it looks like it's smaller. Versus if you got to guard him, and he's on the ISO, to him, oh, this is big. Yeah. So much space to move, and that's where the NBA comes. Because if you have a first step, shooting ability, athletics, it becomes easy. Mm-hmm. You're like, man, I averaged 15 in college. I'm averaging 19 my first rookie season. Yeah, that's how it works.
Yeah. Just like college, it's more team defense as opposed to in the league where you're on islands more.
Yeah, you're on islands more.
So that's what I'll say. We can get out on this and bring it all full circle. Gamers can shift the culture, which is what you want to do at UCLA.
Yep, that's the plan. That's what we're going to do.
Peyton, thanks for coming on. Thanks for doing this. This was great.
Appreciate you having me.
Long Beach, the other part of LA where talent is. There's just so much out here.
It's a pocket of talent in Long Beach, I'm telling you. I'm telling you, we got it.
And we can't wait to see, everything you do, obviously going into this senior year, and then at UCLA, a loaded program. UCLA is absolutely on the map. But
we're going to be good, for sure. We're going to have a mixture of experience and talent, so I think that's all good. And I'm working on some other recruits. I got some other guys I'm trying to get at.
There you go. That's how you do it. Hey, that's how you do it.
Yeah.
Recruit.
Yes, sir.
Championship in Westwood. It's been a minute.
We're going to get one.
That'd be big.
We're going to get one. We're going to get us one.
That'd be big.
Don't worry.
We shall see.
We're going to get us one. Yes, sir.
All right, well, for Gilbert Arenas, a gamer, Peyton Watson, also a gamer, I'm Mike Botticello. This has been No Chill with Gilbert Arenas. Remember, you can catch us every Monday, 8 p.m. Eastern on the Fubo Sports Network, and we'll see you next time.